All right, Miles. One team that we like to talk about a lot is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they got a win today against the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. Look, I understand it's the Panthers. They've had an up and down season, kind of similar to the Steelers in a lot of way, but the Steelers showed something today, a repeatable way to win games, sort of a formula going forward, and they look good doing it. They won 24-16 over the Carolina Panthers. I don't think the score is indicative of how dominant the Steelers was. I think they were clearly the better team today, and I know you got some thoughts on this one, Miles, but before I hand it over to you, Steelers fans, we got to hear from you in the comment section below. Any win's a good win. Any road win's a good win. So we want to hear from you. Give us your MVP for today's game. There's a couple guys that had really nice days, a couple playmakers on offense, a lot of guys on defense, the running game, maybe even the offensive line. Give them a shout out. Whoever it is, give us that guy's name, your MVP of today's win in the comment section below. But Miles, give me your thoughts on this big win from the Steelers.
Yeah, Nick. So sometimes when a star player goes down, I say star because I think Kenny Pickett has been doing really well for the Steelers team. He's had a couple of good games. You kind of find out a lot about yourself, and that's what happened to the Steelers today. They found out how to run the ball. They had a few guys, and they got in there. Najee Harris had a pretty big day on the ground, 86 yards for a touchdown, and that's how they won it. 3 rushing touchdowns, Nick. Mitch Trubisky, not the best day through the air, like 17 completions for 179 yards isn't anything to goggle over. But, they got it done on the ground, and that's something that they've kind of been lacking this year. They have not ran the ball very well, and this is a front for the Carolina Panthers that has a couple of good guys at stopping the run. You got Luvu, you got Thompson. The safeties are pretty good as well, so it's not necessarily an easy team to run against, Nick. So I'm glad that they could get the run established, and I really think that this is going to help them going forward. What do you think about the running game and just the Steelers in general today, Nick?
Yes, so I think what we saw from the Steelers, and that's why I brought up the word formula, is how they can win when Pickett comes back or whoever's behind center. And it's basically what we saw today. You run the football. You're good at running. You're good at running back. Najee Harris is a stud. You want to get a little bit better on offensive line, but you're good enough. And you rely on your defense, led by TJ Watt. Another big day, a sack and a half. He was huge. His defense in general looks really good. Hayward's a beast as always. Minka's making plays. Like, this is a team that can win old school Steelers, old school AFC North football, run the football, play good defense, play good special teams, and you have a couple key playmakers at wide receiver that can come up big. I think Johnson was huge on third down today. Pickens had another highlight reel catch, right? You don't need to be the killer B Steelers where you're going up and down the field with Antonio Brown, Martavius Bryant, Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, right? You don't need to be the team that scores 38 to win games. You can win games this way going forward. And we know what Kenny Pickett's going to be. We think he's going to be a good quarterback, but we don't think he's going to be, he's not Pat Mahomes, or at least it doesn't look like he's going to be. So you need to build the infrastructure and culture around him to establish winning the games that Pickett can win games in, that kind of scenario. And what we saw today against Carolina is exactly the way they can do it.
Yeah, Nick, and speaking of guys who had good days, and you mentioned him, Deontay Johnson, 10 targets, 10 receptions, 98 yards. This is his season high this season for both receptions and yardage. So he had a pretty good day for him. He's had very, very up and down days. But any days when you get targeted 10 times and make 10 catches, Nick, that's a pretty impressive day. So maybe he's starting to figure some stuff out. And that's against a pretty formidable corner on the side of the Panthers. J.C. Horn is no slouch. He's been very, very good so far this season. So, I give him props there. He's kind of been up and down all season, but today was his day. He did very, very well. And I like to see that because the Steelers, to make any progress forward, they're going to have to develop all of these receivers to give Pickett some valuable weapons going down the stretch. So, like you said, the formula is kind of coming to fruition where you've got a good enough guys in the receiving room. You've got the running game established. The offensive line is getting up to par. So this looks like a Steelers team that next year is going to look at a lot of growth, Nick, and much, much more success.
Yeah, I agree 100%. One guy I want to give a real shout out today, and that's backup running back Warren. I thought his physical style, what he was able to do in those situations was huge because we see in today's NFL, you need to have 2 guys to be an effective offense. You can't just rely on one guy. We know Najee Harris is great, but getting a second running back in there who can run hard, run physical, and there's no real drop off in performance when he's in the game is another pivotal piece. And his continued emergence is going to be huge for the Steelers going forward.